Well, hello everyone. It's Sybil Starr here to give the update for the Cancer new moon solar eclipse that occurs on summer solstice. Here on the Pacific coast, it is at 11:41 p.m. on June 20th. Most others, it will be on early in the morning on June 21st. You'll just have to look and see when that falls in your time zone. And so eclipses, what are they? Eclipses occur at a new moon, and it is when the moon lines up perfectly right in front of the sun. Its orb completely covers the light of the sun. This is what's called an annular solar eclipse. It has a ring of fire around it, and everything in our solar system is made of photons from the sun. And let me plug that in. And so when the light of the sun is interfered with, it allows for different energies to come in, and it impacts the electromagnetic field of the earth. And so it is a harbinger of change. It changes the energy. So it allows different energies to come in, different insights, and it often reveals things that have been hidden. So we can expect some things to come to light. Also at this time, there are 5 planets retrograde. And those are Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. And Neptune is stationary. And so when planets are retrograde, it means that we've gotten ahead of ourselves in the areas that those planets are connected with. And so it's time to slow down, go within, rethink, reevaluate. And Mercury retrograde, we know, of course, slows everything down, especially all communication. So, and it's retrograde for 3 weeks, and it just went retrograde early this morning. So it'll be retrograde for 3 weeks. And so things can you can expect that things often seem to have a mind of their own in the area of communication. All right, and one interesting thing too about this eclipse is that it's at 0 degrees Cancer, which is on the summer solstice. And so it is a big shift in energy. You know, the solstices and the equinoxes happen at 0 degrees of the cardinal signs, and they're called cardinal points. It's actually called Aries point or 0 point because it often indicates a new birth. Something new is being birthed. And what's very interesting about this particular one as well is that there was an eclipse at 0 degrees Cancer before 9/11. And so that was a major crisis. And here we are again in a major crisis. And it's the same eclipse activating the same point, wanting to give birth to something new. And so the Sabian symbol for this is, and the Sabian symbols are, there was a psychic named Elsie Wheeler who had a vision for every degree of the zodiac. And the degree, this is the vision she had for this degree. And it is on a ship, sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. So it is the lowering of the old guard and the raising of the new one. We have an opportunity to make some different choices and to go in a different direction. So what could that mean? Well, first off, I'm sure you're wondering where I am. This is actually a photo that I took when I was in Egypt. This is the Temple of Hathor. And it seems very appropriate because this eclipse is in Cancer. And Cancer is the sign of the Great Mother. It is the unconditional love of the Mother. And so I am sitting here in my virtual reality in the Temple of Hathor, who is a face of the Great Mother. And Hathor is the goddess of beauty, of dance, of joy, of play, of sensuality. And that is certainly something that's not high on the agenda right now. And yet, it does seem as though it is something that does want to be brought in. And this is another thing I want to say here is Well, first off, let me just show you the temple. Okay, so I'm going to just move back a little bit so you can see that, all the beautiful artwork. And this temple is, several thousand years old and has not been maintained, in a very long time. And it has withstood um, time, and these beautiful blues that are in turquoise and lapis. That's what they made their colors out of. And these blues always belong to the goddess, and they represented the river Nile and the night sky, and just, the beauty of it. And of course, you can also see that the face of Hathor has been defaced, so it's the face of the goddess. And Cancer is such a sign of the goddess. I mean, it is an energy of the mother, of the divine feminine, of love. And so you can see what that energy has gone through in time, that this great beauty would be defaced. And yet most of her temple is still very intact. And so I'm going to show you the chart here of what we're going to be, what I'm going to be sharing. Okay. All right. So here is the chart for this eclipse in Cancer. And so these cardinal points are just so important, as I talked about here. This is one of the cardinal points here called the nadir, and here is the sun and the moon and the north node tightly conjunct this early 0 degrees Cancer, and this aligns with the summer solstice. Next, we have the fall equinox, which is at 0 degrees Libra. Then I guess I really should start up here. This is where it begins. Up here is in Capricorn. At 0 degrees Capricorn is the winter solstice, and it is the birth of the sun. Then we come over here to 0 degrees Aries, and this is a spring equinox. Then we come to summer solstice, where the sun is at its brightest and its strongest. And then we come to, but starting to wane. Then we come to fall equinox, where the sun, the energy of the sun is waning, and there is more dark than light. And then once again, we have the birth of the sun. So this is the chart we'll be using, and I just wanted to point those 4 cardinal points out to kind of display just how important having an eclipse at this degree is. It's about giving birth. And of course, at the solstice, it means sun stands still. So the sun appears to stand still for a while. And so just to go over the points I'm going to be talking about, here's the sun, the moon, the north node in Gemini, opposite the south node in Sagittarius. That's all very active. We have Neptune here at 20 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Mars at 25 degrees of Pisces. And this is in what's called a square, okay? We have Mercury retrograde. We're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde. And then we have Pluto, Jupiter, and here's Athena, and Saturn. They're all up here in a big conjunction. Saturn is getting ready to come back into Capricorn and activate both of these two again. So I just wanted to give you a picture of the chart. And so we'll go back to the screen here. Okay, so Cancer. What does Cancer mean? Having this eclipse in Cancer. Well, Cancer, like I said, is the sign of the mother. And I feel like it is so, and the unconditional love of the mother. And it is so much about an opening of the heart chakra. It seems like it is a massive opening of the heart chakra. And when the heart chakra is open, it's about love. We're in these we're in these times of great change. And the heart is wanting to be open. And the thing about Cancer is that is the ancient symbol for Cancer is the turtle. And just like the turtle, there's a very soft inner core, which is the heart, because when Cancer shows up, it's always about love, self-love, and an opening of the heart chakra. But that's great sensitivity can, one's heart can be hurt. And so just like the turtle, there is the tendency to have a hard shell around it. And that hard shell is fear. That's what it is. And as they say, fear is the opposite of love. And if this is an opening of love, of the heart chakra, those fears need to come to the surface. And that's what I feel like is happening. Some of our greatest fears may be activated right now. And so there is the potential to let them move through our body. Know that it's there, but it will move. And to not get caught in that web of fear, of knowing it is just trying to move. And we can move it through crying, we can move it through movement, whatever it takes. And the main thing is breathing, to just know that our breath is our friend. And when we become afraid, take some deep breaths, and it may allow a big release to happen and to let it move on through. Because the truth of it is, the only real fear is like if you've got a lion chasing you and you are really in danger. The rest of it is what may happen. We don't know what will happen. And so to breathe through it and get yourself centered. And where I wanted to talk about the how this relates to 2001 when the same eclipse happened is we as a nation, we succumbed to fear, and we allowed a lot of our civil rights to be taken away around surveillance, around lots of different things, the Patriot Act. And we have an opportunity to make a different choice this time. We don't have to go deeply into that fear again. It does take courage to walk in this world with our hearts open, especially at this time. And I feel like that's what that Mars square this is saying. It is so much about the courage that it takes. And I want to share this. This is a great, here it is. A meme. It's about the heart. It says, "It's loaded and I'm not afraid to use it." I feel like that, to me, when I saw this eclipse, this was the image that actually came to me just immediately. Not so much the words, but that image of that heart just kind of exploding with love, this energy and light just moving through, and an opportunity to allow that to happen, and the courage that it takes to feel in these times. Cancer is so much about deep feeling, and it does take courage to do that. I didn't say this, but no, I think I did, right. So the intuition is just also really, really strong right now. And because the heart is the seat of our intuition, and our intuition is our connection to our higher self. So that's where a really great guidance comes from. And so as we are being asked to open our hearts and feel, it is really about connecting with each other. I was listening to a video today from Dr. Zach Bush, and he was talking about isolation and how so many illnesses come from isolation and loneliness. And so we're also afraid of this virus, and yet there's so many people that are isolated, lonely, disconnected. And the truth is, as we're going through these really challenging and difficult times, we need to have those we love around us. We need to have our connection with each other strong. And so this new moon is in what's called an inconjunct with Saturn in Aquarius. And Aquarius is about the family of humanity. It is that place where we are connected. Pisces and Neptune is more about the place where we are all one. But Aquarius reminds us not only of the family of humanity, but of our cosmic family, and that we aren't alone, and that there is a web. And we're moving more into the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius teaches us, namaste. The God in me honors the God in you. And that is what is wanting to happen as we move into the age of Aquarius. But we have Saturn there in Aquarius right now. And Saturn brings in fear, separation, divisiveness. Saturn and authority. Saturn is also bringing in authority. The authority figures in our life are separating us at a time when we need to be together. And so I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you to walk with your heart open in the world and know that we do need to be connected with those we love. And Saturn often calls in personal authority. You know, where are we giving our personal authority away? And what are our rights? So, you know, that's a piece of Saturn. We are also going through, you know, this Pluto Jupiter, which, you know, this is, we're going through a great metamorphosis, a transformation. I read an article where they gave such a beautiful description of when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon and how it's, you know, doesn't really know, it's in the dark, doesn't know what's happening, everything is falling apart. And while they're in there, there is something called imaginal cells that are in the process of creating the new. And I feel like that's where we are. I just heard, again, Dr. Zach Bush say today that he feels like it's a birth of a new humanity. I feel like we are in that cocoon right now, and it's hard to know what is true and what is not true. You know, there's a lot of lies, misinformation, and manipulation, and just plain bad science. And the truth of it, and he also referred to it as the fall of an empire, which, you know, may or may not be, you know, I'm not going there. I feel like it's really, I like the butterfly analogy because it's really, that to me is what is really happening. But when we're in a place where we're afraid, you know, fear can take over. And so as things break down, you know, a lot of people are afraid, not just us. And so what we're seeing is a response to fear, which is an attempt to control, repress, and censor. And, you know, there's a lot of disagreement within the medical community about what's going on and how to handle it. And the long and the short of it is that there is a lot of new science that is giving us a lot more answers than the old paradigm that the medical establishment is clinging to, which is one that is related to the petrochemical companies and all of their medications. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but, you know, most medical treatments are actually designed by the pharmaceutical companies, you know, because they're medication based and enforced by insurance companies. But there is new science out there if anyone would bother to look at it. And that about the true nature of a virus. I know when I started trying to figure out what was happening, that was where I started just trying, because I've been a nurse for 40 years and I didn't know what a virus really was. And I discovered there is a what they call settled science, which science is never really settled because we're always finding new things. It's just, are they accepting them? And so the new science is saying that the newer science is questioning, because due to all of the new really high-tech equipment that we have and what they can see now, that viruses are actually either are exosomes or they morph into exosomes. It's hard to know, but what they are they are actually part of a messenger system and an adaptation signal to alert us to that there are toxins in the around. Okay, it's showing us where we are poisoning ourselves. Okay, and it tells not only the body, but then apparently it's a messenger system that goes out and alerts every being that could be impacted by this poison, this toxin. And so what they have been discovering, and is what I've been saying all along, that this virus has come to wake us up, that it is about our awakening, well, on many levels, but the level I specifically want to talk about at this moment is how we're poisoning our earth. It's basically around our karma, around Mother Earth, and how we treat each other, and both of those are really coming up. And there is some science out there now, some studies have been done, looking comparatively at different places where the virus is really bad. And what they're finding is those places are very polluted, very toxic. And one of the main culprits is Roundup. because not only is it in places that have a big water source, where the runoff from the soil runs into it, but also there are places now that you're trying to do something good, trying to get off fossil fuels, and are burning biodiesel, but that biodiesel is soaked in Roundup. I can't remember the other term for it, but Roundup apparently specifically attacks the lungs in certain ways. And doctors are saying what they're actually seeing is some cases appear to be like a viral pneumonia, but a large majority appear to be more like poisoning. And so we are actually seeing more than one thing happening. And the science just isn't looking at that. They're looking at one model only, when there's actually studies being done that are showing us different things. And so, um, yeah, and so the nodes of the moon, so that's where I want to go next. Oh, and that's one other thing I want to go back to, that is, yes, that there is a lot of questioning of the current narrative, and those doctors and scientists that are like whistleblowers are being censored, are being banned, anything that doesn't line up with the narrative. So it's so important to do your own research and to step outside of your comfort level as far as what you think may be true. We are living in times of the impossible being true. And so just opening up to new ideas. The North Node, which is conjunct this moon, this eclipse, is in Gemini, and Gemini is the heretic. Gemini questions everything. And it's about using, common sense and letting go of old beliefs. Be willing to change your mind with new information. And the ruler of this North Node is Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde in Cancer. And I found this great meme I want to show you here. Okay. First I have to show you this, right? And I forgot to. This is about germ theory versus terrain theory. And so germ theory says, come in, vaccinate the fish, give a whole lot of medication, whereas terrain theory says clean the tank. And that's what they're finding, is when they're looking at not just how contagious is this, but what commonalities do places have? It may be there's something in that place that is why everyone is susceptible, that their cells are actually weaker. So this is really important to know. This is also a conversation that is going on, germ theory versus terrain theory. And I could talk a whole lot more about this, but I'm going to move on. All right, so this is the one. So it is, as we're looking for truth, and what is truth? Where is the truth? And this is a quote by Rumi. It says, "That which is false troubles the heart, but truth brings joyous tranquility." And that is really, sometimes, we're looking at some hard truths, and it's important to be able to do that right now. And even if it's a hard truth, it will bring us peace. We will know it's true. And once we know the truth, we can make a better choice of how to move on. But if it's troubling the heart, there may be something in there that is just simply not true, that it is false. And so it's really important to listen to your heart, and that your intuition, that your own inner guide is going to be able to distinguish it, as long as one is able to really look at it and let go of pre-existing beliefs. Okay. All right. Now, I talked about that Neptune-Mars conjunction that is square the nodes. Well, Neptune is like it's the field. It's a big piece of the quantum field, that place where we are all one. And I talked also about the imaginal cells that are in, when the caterpillar is in the cocoon. And so this is a time of reimagining our new reality. And this says, if one person dreams alone, it is only a dream. When many people dream together, it is the beginning of a new reality. And I feel like both are happening. On one hand, things are falling apart, and it is scary, and it's not coming back, because this paradigm is time for it to go. Okay. But we are also in the process of creating a new reality. So many people are saying, that Mother Earth is moving into higher dimensions. And so it is about raising our vibration. And as we raise our vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. I mean, we raise the vibration of the field, put it that way. The field that is here, because we are all part of it and working together. And there are many, you know, prayer groups, healing groups, meditation groups. You know, that's what I feel like this is about. And really, you know, they say where you focus your energy is what you create. And so on one hand, knowing the paradigm is falling down and fear is coming up, and breathing through it and walking in the world, you know, with our hearts open and with love, and connecting with others to create a new reality. And then the last thing I want to talk about is you know, this is Mother Earth. This is about connecting to the heart of Mother Earth, aligning our energy with her. I've heard from 3 different sources that Mother Earth is moving into these higher dimensions. 1 is from indigenous teachings. 2 is from, there's a young man I've been following on Gaia TV who remembers past lives in the star system Sirius, and he is saying the same thing. And then just today I heard Dr. Zach Bush, who's very grounded, like I said, he's a doctor and a permaculturalist, saying, a farmer, saying Mother Earth, and we are moving into higher dimensions, that we have moved into the 4th, getting ready to move into the 5th. And the truth of it is, for us to be able to move with Mother Earth, we need to raise our vibration, and that is letting go of the fear, and recognizing that there's not just one way of understanding what is going on out there. But this eclipse, I feel like it is a big explosion of love and heart opening. And I wish that for all of you. I wish that for all of you, that that all of your hearts can open and let love in and let it flow through you, and know that this is a process. We are in process, and we are following the process and following the energy. And it is going to take a little time, probably, but the higher we can hold our vibration, the more easily we can make this transition. All right. And so I just wanted to give you some information about me. If you wanted to reach me, I do readings. You can reach me at on my website at Sybil Star, and you spell that SIBYLSTAR. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Facebook page called Star Nation Oracle, and I'm also on a radio show called Political Star Talk on Third Eye Radio. That happens every 2 weeks, and if you're interested, I can send you that information as well. And you can reach me at Sybil@sybilstar.com. All right, wishing you all a great day.